You walk into the kitchen for water, and your dog follows. You go to the bathroom, and they wait outside like it's their full-time job. You stand up to grab your charger, and somehow they're already behind you before you even take the second step. Most people laugh it off and say the same thing. My dog is just clingy. My dog is obsessed with me. My dog has no concept of personal space. But that explanation is too small for what's actually happening. Because when your dog follows you everywhere, they're not just tagging along. They're acting out something ancient, emotional, and deeply wired into the canine brain. And once you understand what it really means, you'll never look at that shadow at your feet the same way again. Let's start with the most common explanation. Your dog follows you because they want food, attention, or a walk. And yes, sometimes that's true. Dogs are smart. They learn patterns quickly. If standing near you has ever led to treats, petting, the sound of a leash, or even a dropped piece of chicken, they remember. But that still doesn't explain why they follow you when none of those things are happening, why they trail you into boring rooms, why they lie near the shower while you do the least interesting human activity imaginable, why they get up out of a comfortable nap just to move 6 feet closer when you change rooms. If this were only about rewards, they'd be more selective. They aren't. Because following isn't just opportunism, it's attachment in motion. Behavior researchers have found that dogs form bonds with their owners that closely resemble the attachment patterns human infants form with caregivers. The details matter here. A securely attached dog uses their person as a safe base. That means they feel more confident when that person is nearby, more relaxed when they can check in, and more unsettled when distance appears without explanation. So, when your dog follows you from room to room, what you're often seeing is not dependency in the childish sense, it's proximity seeking, one of the oldest bonding behaviors in mammalian psychology. Your dog is not saying, entertain me. Very often they're saying, I regulate better when I know where you are. That's why the behavior can look so calm. A dog who follows you everywhere is not always frantic, whining, or panicked. Sometimes they simply stand, watch, and quietly relocate. That quiet part is important because a lot of owners assume love must be dramatic to be real. It doesn't. In dogs, some of the deepest attachment behaviors are almost invisible unless you know what you're looking at. A soft glance toward the hallway, the slow decision to stand up when you do, the choice to settle in the doorway instead of the couch because from there they can monitor your movement. It can look small, but emotionally, it isn't small at all. There's also an evolutionary reason this behavior runs so deep. Dogs did not descend from animals built for solitary independence. Their ancestors survived through social coordination. Movement mattered, location mattered. Knowing where the trusted members of your group were mattered. If the group shifted and you didn't notice, you were vulnerable. Over thousands of years of domestication, dogs became extraordinarily tuned to human behavior. They learned our rhythms, our signals, our moods, our routes through the home. In a strange way, your dog is doing something both ancient and modern when they follow you. Ancient, because staying near the trusted group is old survival logic. Modern, because in your house, you are the group. And this is where people often misunderstand the behavior. They think a dog who follows them is trying to control them, manipulate them, or become dominant. In most cases, that's not what's happening at all. Your dog follows because closeness itself has meaning. Your presence is information. Your location is reassuring. Your movement signals whether the world is calm, active, safe, or changing. For a bonded dog, losing track of you creates uncertainty. Following solves that uncertainty instantly. They don't need to guess where their safe person went. They know. There's chemistry behind this too. When dogs interact affectionately with their humans, both species can experience shifts in oxytocin and cortisol. Oxytocin supports bonding. Cortisol is tied to stress. That means ordinary contact, eye contact, gentle touch, and shared presence are not just sentimental moments, they are biological events. Your dog doesn't experience you as furniture that dispenses snacks. Your dog's nervous system changes around you. That's one reason following can become such a stable habit. It feels good, it feels regulating, it feels safe. When they walk after you, they may be seeking more than attention. They may be seeking a nervous system state they've come to associate with you. Now here's the part most owners never think about. Following you is also your dog's way of reading you. Dogs are incredible observers of human behavior. They notice tiny changes in posture, tone, pace, and routine long before you consciously realize you're stressed, distracted, upset, or sick. Your dog may already be tracking the shift. That's why some dogs become even more attached when their owner is anxious or grieving. They're not randomly becoming needy, they're responding to signals. They know something in your pattern has changed, and following becomes a way to gather information and stay close to the emotional center of the home, which is often you. This is also why bathroom following is such a classic dog behavior. To us, it seems ridiculous. To a dog, it's just a door closing between them and the most important member of their world. That small barrier interrupts visual contact, scent flow, and predictable access. Some dogs tolerate that easily, others prefer not to. So they wait outside, not because bathrooms are fascinating, but because separation, even brief separation, matters more to them than the room itself. But not all following is exactly the same. There's affectionate following, curious following, routine-based following, and anxious following. A healthy, bonded dog might follow you with a loose body, soft eyes, and no distress if you eventually leave. They just prefer being near you. An anxious dog is different. They may panic when they lose access, scratch at doors, vocalize, pace, or seem unable to settle alone at all. That distinction matters because my dog follows me everywhere can be adorable, but if the behavior is driven by severe distress, it may be a sign of separation-related anxiety rather than simple attachment. So how do you tell the difference? Watch what happens when your dog cannot follow. A bonded dog might be mildly disappointed, then relax. An anxious dog struggles to recover. They don't just want closeness, they fear the absence of it. That's when the behavior stops being a sweet habit and starts becoming a welfare issue. The goal is not to punish following, it's to build confidence so your dog knows that distance is temporary, predictable, and safe. There's one more layer to this behavior, and it might be the most emotional of all. Sometimes your dog follows you because, in their mind, staying near you is part of their job. Dogs have been shaped for partnership with humans for thousands of years, guarding, herding, retrieving, alerting, accompanying. Even in dogs with no formal work, that orientation remains. Many of them are not just attached to us, they are organized around us. They want to know what we're doing because, in some quiet, instinctive sense, your life is the mission. If you move, they check in. If you stop, they settle. If you change direction, they update their position. It can look funny, but underneath the comedy is devotion. And if your dog suddenly stops following you, pay attention. Behavior changes matter. If a dog who always shadowed you begins withdrawing, staying behind, avoiding stares, or choosing isolation, don't dismiss it as moodiness. Pain, fatigue, stress, sensory decline, and cognitive changes can all alter movement patterns long before obvious symptoms appear. Sometimes, the absence of a familiar attachment behavior says more than the behavior itself ever did. So, if your dog follows you everywhere, don't reduce it to clinginess. What you may be witnessing is trust, social wiring, emotional monitoring, habit, chemistry, and 15,000 years of partnership all expressed in one simple act. They do not feel quite as settled when you are out of sight, and honestly, that says something beautiful. In a world your dog can never fully understand, with noises they can't explain and routines they can't control, you became the place that makes the world make sense. That's what their little shadow is really saying. Wherever you go, that's where safe is.